Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to read the poem O Great Poet, which was written by Daya Pawar. So Daya Pawar is a poet, novelist, activist, and he is known for his best contribution to Dalit literature that deals with the atrocities experienced by the Dalits or the untouchables under Indian caste system. So basically दया पवार जो है, जो दलित समाज है, अनटचेबल्स है, उनके बारे में लिखते हैं और वो दलित लिटरेचर के लिए जो है बहुत ज़्यादा जाने जाते हैं. हिज ऑटोबायोग्राफिकल नोवेल नेम इज़ बलूटा 1978 में ये लिखी गई थी. इनकी एक ऑटोबायोग्राफिकल जो है नोवेल है ये. इनका एक पोइट्री कलेक्शन है जिसका नाम है कोंडावाला. इन्होंने एक फ़िल्म के लिए भी लिखा है जो है डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर फ़िल्म के लिए इन्होंने जो है लिखा है. इनको पद्मश्री अवार्ड मिला है 1990 में. तो नाउ जस्ट केम टू द पोएम. द ओ ग्रेट पोएट जो है ओरिजिनली मराठी में लिखी गई थी और इसे ग्राहम स्मिथ ने जो है ट्रांसलेट किया था इंग्लिश में. और ये जो पोएम है ये फ्री वर्ड्स में लिखी हुई है. सो लेट्स बिगिन द पोएम. सो पोएम पे आते हैं. बेसिकली इस पोएम में दया पवार जो है वो बता रहे हैं एक पोइट जो है वाल्मीकि, उनके बारे में बता रहे हैं कि दया पवार इज़ एन आउटस्पोकन पोइट हु क्वेश्चंस वाल्मीकि's ग्रेटनेस. ही हैज़ बीन वेरी फ्रैंक एंड फोर्थसाइट इन दिस पोएम. सो इस पोएम में जो है वो पोइट जो है वाल्मीकि, जो एक ग्रेट पोइट थे, उनकी जो ग्रेटनेस है इसका क्वेश्चन करते हैं कि उन्होंने जो है राम राज्य के बारे में लिखा पर उन्होंने दलित समाज के बारे में या जो पिछड़े वर्ग है उनके बारे में कुछ नहीं लिखा. So let's begin the poem. So the poem start, O Valmiki, should you sing the praises of Ram Rajya, because you are the great poet of poets, seeing the heron wounded wings, your compassionate heart broke out in lament. You were born outside the village. So in this line, the Pawar is addressing Valmiki and questioning his greatness, that O Valmiki, you are that great poet of poets who has written the praises of Ram Rajya and who is so much moved by seeing a heron wounded, and after it instantly a slok come out of his mouth. So what happens that one day Valmiki is going through some forest, or he see that bird is wounded by a arrow. So he was so much moved by that scene, so that a slok come out of his mouth. So here the Bawar is saying that you are that great poet who sing the praises of Ram Rajya and whose heart is so much broken by seeing a heron wound, and you has given a slok for it. So here the poet is questioning the greatness of the great poet Valmiki, poets of poet. You were born outside the village, in a neighborhood where misery itself was born. So now the poet Pawar is saying that you were also born in outside the village where is so much miseries, and which was the area is not good. So you were also born there, but you have not written about that Dalit and untouchable people, never festooned with fruit or flowers, the dejected faces furrowed with care. Is it true you never heard their lament as they cried for liberation? One shambuk of your own blood caught fire, rose in anger. So in these lines, poet is saying that you have never written about the miseries of that untouchable and backward peoples. You have never seen them, that they are dejected with fruit and flowers. They don't have any care, and it is true you never heard their lament. The poet is saying that you have not heard their lament for liberation. Even you don't hear the cry of Shambuk, who was also of your community. Shambuk is also a Dalit and untouchable and backward class people. He was punished to read that Vedas by Ram, and he was beheaded for this work. So behind this, the story is that कि शंबुक जो है एक शूद्र था और इनको जो है वेद पढ़ने की जो है आज़ादी नहीं थी। शंबुक ने वेद पढ़ लिए तो उनको जो है पता चला कि राज्य में कुछ जो है कार्य जो है गलत हुआ है, नियमों के विरुद्ध कार्य हुआ है। तब राम ने जो है पूछा कि क्या कार्य हुआ है, तो उन्हें पता चलता है कि दैट शंबुक हैज़ रीड द वेदास, सो he was punished for it. So here the poet is saying that you don't even see or heard the cry of Chambuk who was of your community, and you have done nothing for it. You have only written about the praises of Ramraj. O great poet, singing the praises of Ramraj, even there the icy cliff of inhumanity towers up. O great poet, how then should we call you a great poet? Had you written just one single verse exposing this injustice, this outrage, then would your name have been graved on our hearts? Now the poet is saying that you have sung the praises of Ram Rajya. There is nothing wrong, but you should also have written about the miseries of that backward Dalit peoples. You should also written about the cries of Shambuk who belongs to your community. So if you had written about them, then your name will also graved in their hearts also, that you have done some work for them. You have. So now the poet says, how can we say you the great poet if you have not written a single verse about their miseries? You have not written a single poem or single line for the miseries of that Shambuk who was beheaded for reciting the Vedas. There is a long story about Shambuk. We don't know what happened exactly, but this was where Shambuk was punished for some work, and Shambuk belongs to the community from which Valmiki belongs. So here the poem ends, and in this poem the poet is saying that all world considered that Valmiki is a great poet. He was the first Sanskrit poet who composed first Sanskrit epic, which name is Ramayana. He was greatly moved at the sight of the wounded wings of the bird's heron, so much so that a shloka come out of his mouth cursing the hunter who had wounded the bird with an arrow, that shows his compassion. However, Valmiki turned a blind eye to the suffering of his own classes and communities. He himself was born in a dirty slum surrounding in outside the village where lower class people live. Why did he not write a single poem protesting against the atrocities of the Dalits and the backward classes? And this is how Daya Pawar calls Valmiki greatness into questions. He denounces Valmiki for not writing protest poetry because he let down his own community. He asks him a very relevant question, that how then should we call you a great poet? So here this is all about the poem. इस पोएम में जो है दया पवार ने बोला है कि वाल्मीकि जिन्होंने रामराज जी की जो है प्रेजेस के बारे में एक बहुत ही पहला संस्कृत एपिक लिखा था रामायणा, उन्होंने जो है इतने महान थे कि उनको जो एक पक्षी है उसके वो तीर जो लगा हुआ था जो तीर उसको लगा हुआ था उसको देख के वो इतना जो है मूव हो गए थे कि उनके मुंह से एक श्लोक निकल गया था। उन्होंने हंटर को जो है कर्स किया था, पर उन्होंने कभी भी अपनी कम्युनिटी या जो दलित और जो अनटचेबल्स हैं उनके बारे में, उनकी मिजरीज़ के बारे में कभी अपने पोएम में कुछ नहीं लिखा। उन्होंने शंबुक के बारे में, शंबुक की क्राइस के बारे में कुछ नहीं लिखा। सो दया पवार यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन करते हैं कि फिर हम आपको कैसे जो है ग्रेट पोइट मान लें। सो ये जो पोएम है इसके अंदर दया पवार एक क्वेश्चन कर रहे हैं वाल्मीकि ग्रेटनेस का, कि अगर वो इनके बारे में भी कुछ लिखते तो उनका नाम जो है इनके हृदय में भी जो है ग्रीव हो जाता, पर इन्होंने जो है इनके बारे में कुछ नहीं लिखा। सो दिस वाज अ वॉल पोएम, एंड दया पवार इज known for his best great contribution to Dalit literature. So here this poem ends.